Is it possible to grow a YouTube channel with little to no editing? The answer is yes, and I'm excited to interview today's guest who has grown multiple channels to over 500,000 subscribers with very little editing. I got my friend Ruslan on the show.
What's up, man? Thank you for being here.
This is a really cool opportunity, but I do think you are one of the most fascinating creators I've seen in the last few years, both your approach and the workflow for that approach. And I kind of want to talk about the workflow a little bit. And if you're watching this is actually part of a 3-part series where we actually break down his studio setup because it has so much to do with his success on YouTube. So if you could just break down a little bit about what you do, the various channels you have, and then we can get into all the nitty gritty.
Yeah, so I have a main channel, I have a second channel, I have a smaller third channel. Main channel is called Ruslan KD. We usually have one main channel live stream topic, and then the main channel topic will redirect, the live stream will redirect to what we call the after party stream. The after party stream will also have one main topic on it, and then the rest of the stream is all different topics. We'll do a daily proverb, we'll do whatever current trending events there are, we'll do maybe something around relationships, we'll maybe do a Bible study, we'll cover a plethora of topics, and then those will get clipped into individual topics. But the main channel and that second stream gets chopped into their own 2 clips. So it allows me to do 2 clips a day on my main channel, and then the other stuff will get clipped up for the other 2 channels. And that allows us to have high amounts of volume in different topics. And so it's less calculated and scripted and more conversational, leveraging podcasting, leveraging live streaming, and leveraging novelty concepts.
And this is cool because a lot of the stumbling blocks people have are both literally is something you tapped into early on, or at least you eliminated, and that was showing up consistently. And then a lot of times it's the editing and the tech.
Yeah, everything is turned on by the Stream Deck. We have the Philips Hue little lights that allow us to turn on our main lights, turn on all of our cameras, and everything is just kind of powers up within a matter of minutes. And we did that by design because we set everything, we forget about how it's set up, we do it once, we do it right. And then we get to creating and publishing as quickly as possible. Because before I was doing the talking head videos, but just the sheer cumbersome nature of setting everything up, then getting to the video, then retaking the video, it would just take so long where I can sit and batch shoot 5 topics, 6 topics in one setting. And I have some basic notes to go off of. And yeah, it just streamlined the process. And it wasn't just let me one take. The one take idea I actually got from Casey Neistat. And then Casey Neistat said whenever he does any talking head stuff, it's one take.
Yeah.
Always one take. But then it was the let me one take and commit to publishing. Because if I'm committed to publishing, there I'm already eliminating the need for a thumbnail and a title out of the rip. It's already out. Versus if I do a one take video, but it's not published, then I'm going to think about the title, and I'm going to think about the thumbnail, then I'm going to overthink it, then I'm never going to get around to publishing it. Or I'm less likely to get around to publishing it.
You were talking about, and you would use the YouTube studio editor to clip it up.
Yep.
Which isn't, we were saying it's not perfect.
It's not perfect.
But it's a tool.
Yeah.
And it allowed you to not even have to open up an editing software.
Yeah. Yeah. So the YouTube editor is an underutilized tool because many times people just don't even know it's there. And so what I was doing is I would go live on my main channel. I would hit 4, 5, 6 topics. And before I could bring on guys to edit and help me with stuff, I would literally just go right inside the YouTube editor, clip every single video into its own thing, and never have to open up Final Cut, never have to transfer anything from a memory card, never have to hit upload, right? Everything is just done right inside the YouTube editor. And it's enough that if I know what I'm talking, and this is anchored on, you got to know what you're talking about, right? This isn't something that you need to be doing a ton of research for. If you know what you're talking about, then what you're making content is from a place of overflow.
Yes.
And that's the strategy as well.
How much time would you say do you take in that prep stage?
Man, that's a great question. So I'm doing, again, novelty concepts, right? Novelty content. So right now I am doing a couple different formats. Right now we do a daily proverb. That's usually pretty easy. I read my own Bible and, this verse stood out. Yeah. Let me put together 5 to 10 minute talk on that. That's fairly simple. Now, I'm also taking people through the book of 1 Thessalonians. That requires a bit more prep. So I got a couple of different study Bibles. I'm doing a bit more research for something like that. Then there's other stuff that just, this is trending. Let me just jump right into what's trending and just give my honest opinion on it, And so Killer Mike talk to Joe Rogan about what he would say to the authors of the Bible. That's right within my niche. That has the novelty aspect of Killer Mike, Joe Rogan. So there's bigger anchors. It's not trending. It's not super duper hot, but it's still some bigger names around it. And that's right within my area of expertise. And so, I mean, that's something where I might have a verse queued up. I actually know what Bible verse I'm going to queue up. Boom, throw it on, go. Then there's other stuff that's a little deeper. So we're doing a video on the dogmas of what I would say radical leftist ideology is, right? And that I have to be a bit more delicate with. I got to do some research and I got to go really and look into some scholarly work. That's going to require a bit more time. That's kind of something I've been working on the side for a while. So it really depends. But generally speaking, it's let me go right into what I want to say. And usually let me anchor it around my expertise and just get to the point.
I love that. I think there's a lot of people who can create in this way. And this is where it's like, try what works. You know, you said you tried the editing thing or you tried the talking head, and
I tried the vlogs too.
Tried the vlogs.
Yeah.
So, and then you just landed on this flow, you know, and I think there's just some encouragement there to know that like, it's okay to try, especially out front. How long was it until you really locked in and like, you know, were like, this is the way I'm going to do it?
Brief synopsis of my YouTube career. I started in 2015, June 1st, 2015. I shot my first vlog. It was called My Day as a Full-Time Rapper. Peak of Casey Neistat. My buddy Sam Wells sat me down and said, you guys are trying to do all these cool music videos and that stuff's cool and I'll shoot those for you. But this is the future. You need to get on YouTube. You need to get active frequency. And I said, okay, cool. So I was watching Casey Neistat, did My Day as a Full-Time Rapper. Kind of had to stop that because I had to go and release music and I was running a boutique label at the time. So that was 2015, 2016. After that, talking head videos, 2017, 2018. That's when I pivoted from one video a week to one video a day, 2019. I went to Think Media, Grow with Video, 2018, the inaugural.
Okay.
That was extremely helpful. I have 5,000 subscribers, August. Sat down with you guys, sat down with vidIQ. 2019, a video a day for all of 2019. Interviews like this. 2020, everything shuts down. I can't do shows and I can't travel and interview people. Up to this point, I already have probably 50 interviews in the can. 2020, I grabbed the live format and basically said, I can't interview anyone. Let me just react to stuff that's trending. Yep. And then taking everything I just described and combining it is like 2021, 2022 is when things really started to take off. And at the end of 2020, I was at about 45,000 subscribers. End of 2021, I was at 100,000 subscribers, and it's just kind of compounded. So all of these different things have combined into what I would say is more of a live streaming novelty podcast. We have guests, I would say at least 2 or 3 times a week. We have trending topics, and sometimes it's just me ranting about whatever I find interesting for that day. Yeah. And it becomes a novelty show.
Yeah. No, I love that approach. I would say, let me just say that this isn't easy. Like you're literally DJing while you're delivering.
Yes.
You know, you're listening, you're reacting. There's so much moving pieces. I think part of that, the music background, the church background, like all these things that played in a role to be able to do that. But it is possible. And I think more or less this conversation should just encourage you to see if this could be a potential way of creating. And I love that you tapped into a way to essentially never run out of video ideas.
Yep.
Because culture and like your focus within the culture allows you to, as long as the earth is moving forward, you have something to talk about.
Every day I have something to talk about, and it's usually going to go back to my area of expertise. And that it's part curation, but I'm not just curating nothingness. I'm curating into what areas am I strongest in, and it's anchored on me 15 years, Monday night showing up leading men's Bible studies. That would start with, hey man, did you guys hear about the economy?
It's crazy.
And then we would just talk, and then we go into the Bible, right? Yeah. And that's really my format if you think about it.
Man, and I love that. You like are really using so much. I think a lot of times people look at somebody where they're at right now and they're like, dang, it's so natural, but it looks natural for a reason. You know, you're literally doing what you've been doing. You've been thinking about this stuff for a long time.
Right.
Now that you've tapped in, you've started to push out multiple channels. Now you're doing multiple channels. Yeah. And because you have this infrastructure in place, where do you have to come to realize like, okay, we have another channel on our hands?
It's usually around problems that I first solved for myself that I want to solve for someone else. And this is the beautiful part on folks that I would say, I'm 38, right? Folks who have done more and have lived more life tend to have more experience. And if you just make videos about the stuff you know about, then it becomes much easier to make videos because you don't got to think about it.
Yeah.
So main channel was just my opinions and my conversations, things I found interesting. Second channel was like, oh, we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about other stuff that's a bit broader. Third channel is these conversations that we're having now, mastermind my business. And fourth channel is I just had a gnarly fitness transformation. So I figured out something that very few people can figure out, which is like I lost 30 pounds in 12 weeks, kept it off.
Wow.
I'm shredded. I look good. I feel good. I'm eating well. I'm sleeping well. Let me curate the things that have worked for me and show the different perspectives. Same exact format,
Yeah.
but it also does well in that it serves as an anchor for my own identity. Because if I'm showing up every day talking about fitness, at least one or two topics, then that's going to make sure that I don't fall off the wagon and start wilding out with my own fitness. So it almost like in a way serves me as well. But it's also that's one of the most frequently things I get is like, hey man, talk more about fitness, talk more about working out, talk more about fitness. So I just listen to my audience. I'm like, all right, cool. Next channel. Mastermind my fitness or something like that. You know?
So one thing I think you do extremely well is package your videos. Think media, a lot of times we teach kind of a very practical approach as far as using, keyword terms and search-based results and things like that. You go almost like the recommended route, and I'd like to know what is your process for packaging a video? Because yes, you have the concepts while you're delivering it on the long live or whatever, but when you actually trim it up and it's going to be thumbnail, title, what are your kind of go-tos?
Every video should have, for me, something interesting that we would call that the hook, right? So, hey, today's video, or, it usually starts with a question, trying to build tension, trying to build the opening statement. Then I go into the meat of the content, and then there's usually building it up and then resolution, right? So at this point, it's on autopilot. Anything we talk about, tension, because usually the topics are going to have some tension naturally built in. Meat of the content, resolution, here's what I think, here's my thought, what do you think? Or I don't have an opinion about this, what do you guys? Sometimes it's just that simple. The packaging is, depending on if we're in the YouTube editor or not in the YouTube editor, we're just trying to get every video to at least 8 minutes. I'd say no longer than 30 minutes. That's kind of the sweet spot for us. And then the titles are already things that are trending, right? And so we will use titles that are less than 50 characters so people can read them. We'll usually tag the other creator if they're in them. We try to create a degree of mystery and intrigue in the title, tension, curiosity, all those things. And then the thumbnails, oddly enough, initially, thumbnails started right on OBS. I would just pull up the topic on my right and then a picture of the topic and then look into the camera, right click, screen grab, OBS, there was my thumbnail. I did that for years.
So good.
And then Zach came on and was like, hey man, maybe we should make these thumbnails better. So now Zach designs them, Chris is designing them, and they're kind of like titles, thumbnails. I just kind of stay out of it. So that's the benefits of like having a team. Once you kind of flesh out and get going, then Zach is way stronger at thumbnails and titles than I am.
That's really good. The thing I'm grabbing from this conversation and everything you got going on is that you find a place where it could get systemized.
Yes. Most businesses are going to thrive or die if they have systems. And the moment I got serious about YouTube, I said, I have to have a system. I have to have a system for everything. Titles, thumbnails, topics, guests, workflow, edit. Everything has to have a system. Once I figured that out, then the ability to output increased. And then I was able to take the profits and hire help right away and reinvest as much as I could. And then that's when the ROI became bigger and bigger and bigger, because now we just put more people into the system and we keep refining and cleaning up the system as much as we can.
So good. And then I would ask, because this is such like a creative way of expressing yourself, and a lot of times releasing part of that trust can get kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard,
Yep.
Like, how did you get over that to get to the place where you started hiring people?
I've been very fortunate. Zach's been with me since he was 17. He just shot music videos for free for me for years.
Oh, wow.
And then when we were able to pay him a little bit, he's been around for so long. So I was fortunate in that the moment YouTube, like my AdSense went, I think I touched like $5,000. I was like, I think I can hire Zach for $5,000. Like I'm like, I have my music income still, right? 2020, I'm still making money off music. Oh, I think I can hire Zach for $5,000. And then it hit like $10,000. And I was like, oh, okay, boom, we're profitable, And so the moment I could, I did. And it's because there was a history and a trust there. People who do creative things could stand to benefit from investing in people younger than them. But you'd be shocked if you could find that person that's 18, 19, that's excited. Maybe you can't pay them a whole lot, but it just gives them something to shoot. Who they are at 21, 22, 23, could be a
skills.
massive asset to the team.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that comes from our faith worldview of just
Yeah.
discipleship and helping people
Right.
out. And Zach just being true in that.
Dude, so cool. Appreciate you taking time for this conversation. If you want to click or tap the screen to check out his studio tour where we break down how he's able to do all this, how I was even able to switch this conversation, then click or tap the screen. I'll see you in a future video. Peace.